This is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. The Billings City Council heard about increased construction costs for public works and needs of other departments tonight. This was the third and last of the work sessions dealing with information for the budget review. Q2's David J. has more on some of tonight's discussion and what it could mean for you.
The City Council has met here for the past 3 nights to hear from the different departments. And the mayor says if the council goes over the budget, the priority will be public safety.
That's priority 1, 2, and 3. We really have to get our arms around this increase in crime that we've been seeing. All the departments have typical cost of living increases. Everybody's trying to pull that belt just as tight as they can. We're not seeing a lot of requests for additional staffing from other departments. Everybody knows the priority is public safety.
My emphasis to Kevin is I realize this is a city-owned airport, but no local property tax dollars go into the airport. That's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. My point is I want him and future leaders of that airport to not treat it like it is a city local government run facility. It has to compete with the best airports out there.
Chris, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Why don't I just proactively get the question that I know will come, which is why is the airport no longer paying storm and street fees? Long story short, this has become a pretty significant issue, Great Falls, Helena, and between the FAA. The bottom line is we felt we were at risk of losing FAA grant funding by charging both of those assessments.
Also on tonight's agenda is a budget review, and the mayor says that the council will also have to figure out the mill levy numbers fairly quickly. Russ, we'll send it back to you.
All right, David J. reporting. Mayor Cole says he expects details of the proposed mill levy to be put out in June so it can be put to a vote in November. On Monday, the City Council will consider proposed rate increases for water and wastewater. Well, the Billings Clinic is expanding its growing health system by helping to make Wyoming healthcare history. Today, the Riverton Medical District announced it has signed a letter of intent to pursue affiliation and clinical partnership with Billings Clinic. This news marks a huge step forward for plans to build a new hospital in Riverton. The partnership with Riverton adds to Billings Clinic's growing healthcare system with relationships in numerous Wyoming communities, including Basin, Lovell, Powell, and 2 clinics in Cody. Now, Cordy McGuffey of the Riverton Medical District called today's partnership a huge momentum builder, saying this is not just a win, it's a mammoth victory to have signed a letter of intent with Billings Clinic to be our clinical and management partner. They're a nationally recognized health system with a laser focus on advancing care in local communities in Montana and Wyoming. Well, high school graduation day is less than 2 weeks away, but ceremonies got off to a head start at the Lincoln Center tonight as 2020 and 2021 adult graduates received their GEDs. Nearly 280 total people graduated, and those who attended the event walked across the stage at the Lincoln Center this evening. Billings Public School Superintendent Greg Upham gave the commencement speech to graduates in front of a full crowd. Afterwards, we caught up with Faculty Award winner Riley Bearrobe about the challenging journey he's been on since 2018.
Feels pretty good. This is something that I've been working towards, like I said, since the fall of 2018. I was scared to come here at first too. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know where the road would take me, but here I am, just graduated. I'm gonna take a year off. I'm gonna finish this work season, and then 2022 or the start of 2023, I plan on going to college to become either A, a private contractor, or B, a diesel mechanic.
And congratulations to all the graduates. Well, a suspect has now been arrested in Monday's vandalism spree throughout Helena, one that included damage to the historic Cathedral of St. Helena. Helena police say that 21-year-old Durbin Tabb of Helena was taken into custody on charges of felony charges of criminal mischief and malicious intimidation. On Monday morning, police received reports that 5 buildings, including the cathedral, and 10 vehicles were tagged with symbols and vulgar imagery. Investigators say the damage exceeded $10,000, and authorities say additional suspects have been identified. All right, turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. wind and rain around Billings this evening, and that may just be a glimpse of what's ahead, Ed.
That's for sure. We got wintry weather that's really going to start to move in. Now, anything in the shaded regions shows where there's at least a little bit of snow potential, but check out those areas of north central Montana up to extreme wintry conditions in the Rocky Mountain front. A lot of that could spill down and even affect travel along I-15. Great Falls, Helena included in some of those areas where we could see at least some slushy roadways, some problems with visibility. So we got winter over in the north central portion of the state, but the potential for strong to severe storms in this huge area through the central plains extending all the way up into southeastern Montana. This is tomorrow afternoon and evening. Large hail and damaging winds possible. We'll talk more about that with the forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Ed. A new law that prohibits the state university system from banning firearms on college campuses in Montana is going to court. In a unanimous vote this morning, the State Board of Regents decided to challenge the law for allegedly violating the board's constitutional authority to manage the university system. MTN's Mike Dennison has the story.
The lawsuit will challenge House Bill 102, which was passed by the legislature's Republican majority in February and signed into law by Governor Greg Gianforte. The new law essentially requires the Montana university system to end a 30-year-old ban on possessing firearms on its campuses. The Regents said they received thousands of emails on the issue, with the majority urging them to challenge the law.
I believe that it's our right, if not our obligation, for us to seek this judicial review of House Bill 102 to honor the constitutional balance that is affirmed in the Montana Constitution.
Former state constitutional delegate Maynard Ellingson of Missoula also spoke at the meeting Wednesday, saying the Regents' constitutional power was a hard-fought victory for academic freedom. She also noted that GOP lawmakers tried to silence the board by appropriating $1 million to implement the new rule, only if they didn't file a suit challenging it.
They've also sought your acquiescence on this power grab by granting you the right to impose regulations implementing House Bill 102 on campus. That is not the legislature's to give. The authority for you to impose regulations comes directly from the Constitution. This is a critical principle, and it goes far beyond guns on campuses.
But others disagreed, saying the U system is violating people's constitutional right to keep and bear arms. Here's Montana State University employee Tim Capps.
The issue here is not whether the legislative office or the Board of Regents has ultimate authority. What I believe is not open for debate is whether or not the board has the authority to override the Constitution of the United States. It does not have that authority.
The sponsor of the bill, Republican State Representative Seth Burgley of Joliet, echoed that sentiment. He also said he's disappointed the Regents are filing suit without even first trying to implement his bill's new policy on firearm possession. So, U-System lawyers will be navigating two constitutional questions on this one: the Regents' authority and the Second Amendment. They're also likely to ask to block the law while the case is being considered. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
House Bill 102 will be at least the fifth law passed by the 2021 legislature to face a court challenge over its constitutionality. Still to come on the MTN News at 10 here on Q2. Getting from the Heights to Lockwood and vice versa can be a challenge, but a new bypass will eventually cut out a lot of time. We'll get an update on the Billings bypass. And in tonight's Ag Report, we'll show you how a new wool lab at Montana State University will help sheep producers in the state.